What's up, fam? Hope everybody's doing fantastic out there. Today we are taking a look at the latest knife, at least at the time of filming, from Vosteed. So we are taking a look at the Vombat, particularly the steel blue clip point. Let's go ahead and get the knife in here. An absolute stunning knife from Vosteed. I love the clip point blade. It's aesthetically, I think it's a great looking blade. It may not be the best for typically what I use a knife for, but I love the looks of the clip point. And then this blue color is just stunning. Absolutely love that shade of blue. Not a huge fan of crossbar locks, but if you're going to do one, you need to do it like this. This thing is absolutely done very, very, very well. Just the attention to detail on this knife and what they've done with it is really cool. There's a couple of patent pending things on this knife. We'll talk about that as everything goes through. We'll talk about all the specs and everything and what you can get with the knife and all of the fun bits with it. But let's go ahead and go into the specs on. You're looking at 2.92 inches on the blade length, 6.72 inches overall. And that weight, we're looking at almost a perfect 1-to-1 ratio at 2.96 ounces. So a very nice job on this. And this thing just sounds so good. It's got a thwack to it. I mean, just absolutely amazing. And it reverse flicks pretty easily as well, which isn't always the case for me anyway, with the crossbar lock. M390 on the blade steel. It is ran at 60 to 62 HRC. Price tag on these, you're looking at $140. Again, that's aluminum and M390. There is a clip point or a drop point version. They're calling it the Zulu version, so I'm guessing they're meaning it more to be a spear point, but it looks more clip pointish to me. A couple of different colors here, so you get the blue that you have here. There's also a raw aluminum version, an olive green version, and then coming up soon in July, there is or at the end of July, there's the copper dunes and black. And again, I think that drops on the 30th or 31st. I can't remember which. There are 3 different swap kits, which we'll talk about those here in just a little bit. So this is a quick change knife, so you can quick change the scales, and there's a bunch of different customization stuff on there. So we'll go over that here in just a moment as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at the knife up close and personal. Zoomed in here, we are taking a look at this really nicely milled aluminum on the scale. And you'll notice that there is no pivot hardware. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. 3 screws here on the show side. Open pillar construction. You do have a lanyard post there, so you can certainly use that. Wire pocket clip. It is reversible. Now there's another part of that customization. We'll talk about more of that here in just a few moments. So, and there you have access to your pivot without having to remove the scale. So again, like I said, these are a quick change scale system. So you actually can go in there and very easily adjust your pivot if you need to. Or you don't have to have that off to change anything out. Now talking about some of the patented things here, so on the crossbar lock itself, you can see, let's see if I can get it to show there. So you can see it's actually a kind of like a roller ball there. So it's just a bulb basically on the crossbar lock, which not only reduces the friction here on the crossbar itself and allows it to operate smoothly, but what that will also do is help with wear-in over time. So instead of the bar just wearing into the blade, then you have this extra bit on the crossbar itself that is machined into that crossbar. So you have more wear area that the crossbar is able to wear down over time. Now granted, that's going to take a lot of wear in order to wear that down to where it's flat. But again, you do have that ability to wear that down and it not result in issues with lockup or anything like that. So it's going to kind of give it some more adjustability as it's going on. Speaking of adjustability, it is an adjustable crossbar lock. We'll talk about that again here in just a few moments. But talking about a good crossbar, so one of the things we've always talked about, and you can see it there, is the little J shape on your crossbar. So that has that little bit of a kick up right there, which allows it to have that really nice detent where it sucks that blade in and just does a really good job on there. Blade centering, of course, I mean, it's a Vosteed. It is perfectly centered. Lockup is crossbar lock, can't really check that. Here we can take a look at that really nice stone washed clip point blade. Here you do have some jimping on the clip point as well as on the back of the blade. Vosteed's been doing that a lot here lately. We do have a fuller that is semi-functional. You can get in there and flick off that fuller. It's just a little more difficult too. Branding is just simple with Vosteed. You have the Vosteed on one side, M390 on this side. Sharpening itself all looks to be good. Take a look at that tip. Tip looks pretty good. And the plunge grind is actually pretty good as well. We do not have a finger choil, which I actually like to see that. So I have, you know, full grip on the knife, and I'm right here at the blade. I don't feel like I'm a mile away from the blade and have to choke up on it. And with that plunge grind being good like that, we do still have a bit for sharpening. And then taking a look here, giving it the old pinky test. If we're on that edge, we are far enough away from that thumb stud so we don't have to remove the stud. But if we did have to remove the stud, it is a tooled stud, so it would be easy enough to remove. And yeah, let's go ahead and back on up here, talk about the knife as a whole. So again, just a phenomenal job on the knife in general. It's a little on the small side for what I typically like, but it is just barely so it does fit the hand very well. Contouring on it is nice. It's just very slightly contoured, and it does have chamfering here on the edges, which does make it very nice and comfortable. The milling is providing plenty of grip without being too rough. The jimping is functional. You know, the pinch grip jimping, you've got that. It's very functional. Spring weight is good on the crossbar lock. I don't have any complaints with that whatsoever. It is adjustable, so if it was a little stiff or a little light, then I could simply adjust that out. Wouldn't have really anything to worry about there. Now, like we were saying, it does have a kind of a quick change system here. So we'll go ahead and show that off. Just a couple of screws. Now, these screws are different lengths, so you will want to pay attention to that when you are changing it out. So you can see here, this screw is a very, there we go, that screw is a very short screw compared to the rest of them. So just be aware of that whenever you are changing this knife out, or you know, making any changes to it, that you do remember that the screws are different lengths. Yeah, so quick, just like that, easy enough to remove that scale. And then on the inside here, you've got your skeletonized frame, and then you do have the adjustable. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that. So you do have that adjustable crossbar there. And then there you can see the back side of your pivot. And then, of course, you have your standoff, which is available to be able to take the knife completely apart. You can remove that screw there for the standoff. But unless you're pulling the blade out or anything like that, you shouldn't have any reason to completely pull the knife apart. Now, with this, they do have kits that are available. So you can make a separate purchase or add them in with your knife whenever you're making that, whenever you're buying the knife. And you can get one of 3 sets of scales. So they have blue and orange aluminum, just like these here. So this is a darker kind of almost a midnight blue or a blurple. You can see it next to the other blue there. And then with that, when you purchase the kits, and the kits are $25 if you purchase them with a knife, or they are $35 separately. And then you know, if you're not buying anything else, they do charge shipping, so just be aware of that. So if you're buying one of these knives and you think you're going to want a kit, just go ahead and get the kit. You know, the extra 20 bucks won't be too much of a big deal. So they do send you 2 different sets of hardware. So you do have an extra set of black hardware, and then an extra set of the kind of the gray or raw aluminum or raw steel hardware. They do send you 3 different thumb studs as well with this kit, so you can choose to have the black, the blue, or the gold. Send you an extra set of Omega springs. And then lastly, they do send you a 3-piece set of the clip plates. One of them has the logo on it, the other 2 are bare, so you could change those out and, you know, do what you wanted to with them. So you have one that's already on the knife that's black with the logo, and then you get that a second black one with the logo there on with the kit. And then, like I said, you have a blue and a green that do not have a logo on them. But, you know, just putting the new scales on the knife, very simple, just as easy as taking the old ones off. You replace them, put in the 3 new screws, and then there you have it. So there's your look on that. Now, I do want to change over the thumb stud. I believe I want to put the blue thumb studs on. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do that here with you guys. Let me go ahead and put these scales back on here. So really cool design here with this system. Now the quick change scales isn't anything new. There's, you know, of course, you know, you've got companies like NAFS that have kind of popularized it. Quick change scales were a thing even before then. They may have not been just as quick change, but there's always been that customization factor with these things. And then certain crossbar locks have made it easier, and some have made it harder. It just depends on you know what's you know what you're wanting to do as far as the knife is concerned. So let's go ahead and swap out. So just as easy as pulling these out. Let me try not to a little bit of a press fit on this stud. I don't want to use my bit because I don't want to, there we go. I don't want to scratch up the aluminum. So if yours is like mine and it's more of a press fit, then just simply you know, partially screw the thumb stud back in and just push down on that thumb stud and you'll be able to get it out of there, no problem. Like I said, I think we're going to go with the blue. And of course you have a spare set of black in there, and then a spare set, or then a set of gold as well. I think this blue is going to look good together. And there we go. So easy peasy. Now we've got the blue studs on the blue knife, and I think that looks pretty doggone sweet. It's not an exact match, but I didn't think it would be. But it's pretty doggone close. Hardware on these things are done very well. You know, that's just kind of a given with a knife that's meant to be taken apart. The machining and everything is done very, very well. Let's just check everything just to make double, triple sure. And then inside there. I'm actually going to go ahead and adjust my pivot while I'm at it, since I can do such a thing. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into our size comparisons really quickly. This video has drawn on long enough. The CJRB Pyrite. Now it is going to be kind of difficult to line these up perfectly, so I will just do my best. It looks about right. So again, it is a smaller knife. So there it is against the Pyrite and the Drop Bear, and it is smaller than both. I think this will be the smallest knife that we have in comparison for today. I don't think any of my comparing knives are smaller than the Vombat. Military, and if any of them are the same size, it might be this one here. Nope, it is definitely not smaller than the Bel Air. And then against the Malibu. And these two knives are definitely going to dwarf this one. We have the PM2 and the MSI. So there you have it, guys. Now let me know what you think about this one. I know this is one that I've heard a lot of folks talk about since its release. And then this was very popular at Blade Show. It seemed to garner a lot of attention, and rightfully so. I think this is a absolute home run for Vosteed, and they've always done a really great job with their crossbar locks. And then this new, the roller ball or whatever crossbar you want to call it, does seem to definitely make a difference. And then it looks like they have actually started to pay a little bit more attention to the mating surface between the blade, the tang of the blade, and that crossbar, and getting that getting that detent really dialed in. So I'm really proud of the guys for doing that. So again, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Please remember to be kind, be humble, and be EDC. Take care.